The B-2 Spirit bomber has new upgrades. These upgrades are terrifying to advanced radar systems around the world. They do not just keep the B-2 stealthy, they push it into a level of invisibility that modern air defense networks were never built to fight against. The goal of every improvement is simple: make the world's most iconic stealth bomber even harder to see, harder to track, and impossible to intercept. The truth is that air defense radar systems have become much more powerful, yet the B-2 keeps slipping further away, out of reach. These new upgrades widen that gap for good. They turn the B-2 into a nightmare for any radar operator who needs speed and certainty to protect important targets. This is how US dominance is asserted, leaving no doubt about who controls the skies. This dominance starts with the lessons learned from decades of stealth operations. The B-2's evolution was not planned in a clean room. It came from missions where detection meant failure. Every mistake and every success carved a lesson into the aircraft's future design. The B-2 flew missions in Kosovo, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and in Libya. It penetrated enemy defenses and delivered weapons from thousands of miles away. This pattern of deep strikes is now a fixed ritual for the bomber force. Its consistent, successful use in combat confirmed that stealth and range are essential. But those operations also showed that even invisible aircraft need to be connected. Being stealthy was not enough to survive in the face of faster, more complex battles. That is why the B-2 evolved. The world built thicker defenses, and the B-2 learned to fly through them. The world built better sensors, and the B-2 learned to see more. The physical changes exposed the adversary's weakness immediately. The emotional weight of these upgrades begins with the coatings and materials. The B-2 has always used materials to absorb radar waves, but the newest mixes take this idea much deeper. These coatings do not just lower reflections, they stop them across many radar frequencies. Radar waves that should bounce back and reveal the aircraft instead disappear into its surface. Adversaries have poured billions into new radar systems, hoping to find signs, distortions, or weak points that hint at a stealth aircraft. The upgraded coatings erase those clues completely. The humiliation for them is clear. The bomber's radar signature is so small that even powerful modern radars struggle to find it at any useful distance. This is a direct counter to all the enemy's spending on systems meant to spot stealth aircraft.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The B-2's materials simply evolved faster than the radars built to hunt for it. Every new radar system an adversary builds is rendered weaker than they expected. The flying wing design also helps maintain this dominance. The B-2 has no vertical parts for radar waves to bounce off. Every angle is carefully set to scatter incoming radar energy sideways or upward, away from the radar that sent it. The surface itself is smooth, with no sharp corners for radar to catch on. Engineers say it is like angled mirrors. Whatever hits the bomber is reflected away, not returned. This is why the B-2 still acts like a ghost to radar after many years. The upgrades take this shape and make it even better with advanced surface treatments and tighter construction. In a world of digital tracking, scattering the signal remains the most reliable way to avoid being seen. The B-2 remains the master of this domain. Next comes the concealment of the engines and their heat. The engines sit deep inside the wing. This keeps radar from reaching the fan blades, which normally reflect radar very clearly. The S-shaped air inlets are not just for looks. They shield the most radar-visible part of a jet engine from enemy view. The new upgrades make the management of exhaust heat much better. Systems that hunt for heat look for strong, focused heat signatures. The B-2 cools, spreads, and masks its exhaust so well that infrared sensors struggle to lock on. Hiding from radar is not enough in modern warfare. Hiding from heat is now also essential. These improvements make the B-2 harder to spot even when adversaries use many different sensor types at once. the enemy's defenses become overwhelmed and overloaded by the B-2's sheer invisibility. The bomber silences noise across every detection spectrum. The electronic warfare and countermeasure upgrades add a powerful dynamic layer to its stealth. The coatings and shape help the aircraft avoid detection, but electronic warfare helps it survive the moment it is spotted. The B-2 now has modern electronic systems that can jam enemy radar frequencies, confuse guidance systems for missiles, and create fake radar signals to lure defenses away toward false targets. These are not fixed systems. They change in real time. They analyze threat signals and respond faster than any human operator could. If a radar spike is detected, the B-2 can instantly generate interference, release decoys, or change its flight path to break the enemy's tracking lock. This causes a psychological crisis for the enemy radar crews. Every time they think they have a target, the image disappears, flickers, or moves where it should not. The B-2 makes the enemy radar misinterpret reality. The aircraft also has new software for sensor and signature management. The B-2 uses advanced software to read the entire battle space and change its own stealth profile while flying. This means the bomber is not just hiding, it is actively thinking. It can guess enemy radar coverage patterns. It can detect long-range tracking attempts and find the electronic fingerprints of hostile systems. This awareness lets the bomber find blind spots and avoid detection lanes. In crowded airspace where many radars are working together, this real-time adaptation is priceless. It lets the B-2 exploit weaknesses even in integrated enemy air defense networks. The bomber becomes an intelligent ghost, guiding itself through danger zones with great precision. This technological dominance is built upon more than just avoiding detection. The Spirit's upgrades transform it from a stealth bomber into a near-invisible command platform. It shifts from being one of the world's quietest aircraft to one of the world's smartest. It is no longer just a flying wing built to sneak through defenses. It has become a brain in the sky, a hub of real-time information that can guide entire operations while remaining impossible to detect. For years, the B-2's power came from its shape and its silence. Now its power also comes from what it can hear, what it can process, and what it can communicate without ever being seen. The emotional stakes were high before these upgrades. Older battlefields moved too slowly for information to be a problem. But today, a small delay in data can mean a failed mission. Before its modernization, the B-2 was lethal, but it was isolated. It carried orders into hostile airspace and executed them, but it could not change its plan quickly enough for modern war. Every limit in its communication created a weakness. The new Spirit Realm 1 open mission system solved that problem. It gave the B-2 software that can change constantly. Engineers no longer wait for long development times. They can now add new abilities quickly, fix security problems instantly, and put in new sensors and weapons without redesigning the aircraft.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
This change means the B-2 can now evolve as fast as the threats it faces. The B-2 used to have very limited options for secure, real-time updates. It relied on older systems. This lack of flexibility meant missions could be ruined if a target moved or if conditions changed. The new Secure Communication Suite ended this weakness. High-speed, encrypted satellite links let the B-2 talk to global command networks without giving away its position. It can get updated targeting data instantly. It can send intelligence information back home while flying deep inside enemy airspace. It can coordinate with other aircraft, ships, drones, and ground forces while staying invisible. This turns high risk into complete control. Analysts say these systems allow the B-2 to act as a digital ghost node, moving data through enemy networks they cannot jam or track. The most important part of this is that the B-2 eliminates a critical weakness that all command aircraft face: visibility. If the enemy sees the plane controlling the battle, they will strike it first. The B-2 remains nearly invisible to radar. Combining stealth with command capability creates a new kind of power, A command post that cannot be detected is a command post that cannot be defeated. This gives U.S. forces an unmatched advantage in the opening moments of any conflict. This is the decisive factor that leaves no doubt about U.S. control. The upgrades work together to produce this dominance. Spirit Realm 1 gives the modular software. Advanced communications provide constant contact. The B-2C3 system adds machine-to-machine connectivity. This B-2C3 system is crucial because it answers the urgency of modern war. Battlefields are full of drones, fast radars, and electronic warfare. The B-2C3 allows for instant data transfer without waiting for human relays or slow networks. The bomber can instantly share sensor data, updates, and targeting information with every connected platform. It functions as a central point inside the joint all-domain command and control network. The humiliation for the adversary is that the B-2 is retasking their enemies while flying over their heads undetected. The B-2 can retask fighter planes, redirect drone swarms, provide options for strikes, and manage electronic warfare actions without being seen. The force multiplier effect is enormous. A single stealth bomber dropping precise bombs is powerful. A stealth bomber coordinating an entire strike package of fighters, drones, ships, and artillery while remaining invisible is a different level of influence altogether. The B-2 can give updated targeting data to aircraft that have not even started fighting yet. It can assign tasks to unmanned systems through secure channels. It can coordinate the suppression of air defenses with other platforms. The B-2 is no longer just one asset. It is the central piece of a much larger ecosystem. This system also gives the B-2 complete situational awareness. With its upgraded computing power and sensors, the B-2 can find threats long before they become dangerous. It can track missile launches, identify radar signatures, and analyze all electronic activity. This awareness is then shared across the entire network, giving every connected platform a clearer picture of the battle. In contested airspace, this level of awareness is the difference between failure and decisive victory. The B-2 becomes the quiet observer that guides the entire fight from the shadows. The result of all this preparation and operational capability is a major strategic shift. The upgrades ensure the B-2 remains a vital asset until the next generation B-21 Raider arrives. This continuity prevents gaps in deterrence and keeps strategic stability. It shows allies that the U.S. maintains a credible stealth presence that can defeat the world's most advanced air defenses. Operationally, the B-2 can now do more than just deep strike or nuclear missions. It can support intelligence gathering, electronic warfare coordination, and multi-domain synchronization in real time. The B-2 is no longer reserved for rare missions. It is a flexible tool for shaping the battlefield and coordinating strikes without ever revealing itself. The B-2's revival is described in reports as America's return to an invisible, preemptive global strike capability. The bomber is now the spearhead of a new, stealth-driven preemption. This blend of stealth, range, and new command features meets the military's need for precise, survivable global strike in dangerous airspace. Its intercontinental range is roughly 6,000 miles without refueling, which can be extended by air refueling. Combine this long range with invisibility, and you have the ability to penetrate sophisticated enemy air defenses without warning. The bomber can hold well-defended, hardened targets at risk while remaining undetectable. This capability is the foundation for a preemptive global strike. The narrative of dominance is strengthened by reported operational success. Accounts speak of a 2025 mission called Operation Midnight Hammer. This operation reportedly struck nuclear sites with B-2s using specialized munitions on fortified locations. The accounts describe non-stop, very long flights with complex refueling chains. This showcased the bomber's strategic reach and its stealth-driven penetration. The reports frame this as clear proof that the B-2 can fly from U.S. bases, enter contested airspace, and strike hardened targets undetected. This ability to act quickly and strike effectively is the strategic pressure point for enemy leaders. The B-2 preserves the strategic option to stop threats before they fully materialize. This capability reassures the audience that the U.S. maintains control. The policy moves reportedly made in 2025 reinforce this urgency. Reported presidential orders to upgrade or acquire 28 more B-2 Spirits are cast as a strategic pivot. This is a clear national commitment to stealth dominance alongside the development of the next-generation B-21 Raider. Whether the action is called expansion or modernization, it is a bet on the continuing value of stealth. The logic is simple. Threats that are near-peer competitors demand options that cruise missiles, satellites, and long-range strike aircraft alone cannot guarantee. The B-2, now updated and available in larger numbers, is framed as that necessary option. This is the deliberate choice to act before threats become catastrophic. The ultimate consequence of these upgrades is a change in nuclear deterrence psychology. The B-2 forces every adversary to face the same terrible truth. A weapon they cannot see, cannot track, and cannot confidently defend against will shape their decisions long before any conflict starts. Deterrence only works when the other side believes you can reach them at any time, in any place, before they can react. The modernized B-2 makes that belief stronger than ever. The B-2 operates in a space between visibility and invisibility. Adversaries cannot reliably predict when it takes off, where it is going, or when it will strike. Once lost on radar, the B-2 becomes a constant mental pressure point for enemy planners. The real fear is not the strike itself. The fear is the total uncertainty of never knowing if a strike is already in motion. Enhanced stealth strengthens this fear. Every radar sweep that comes back empty increases the enemy's doubt. Every failed attempt to track a mission fuels the belief that the bomber could already be overhead. This is strategic intimidation at work. The B-2 shifts from traditional deterrence to strategic intimidation. It is no longer just about preventing conflict through threat of return strike. It is now about influencing decisions through fear, uncertainty, and the knowledge that an invisible strike can arrive at any moment. Deterrence tells an enemy, do not attack. Intimidation goes further and says, do not even think about it. The B-2 is now crossing that line. It is a weapon that shapes behavior through pressure, not just through the threat of a response. This evolution is why the B-2's upgrades are not the end of a legacy, but the beginning of the next one. The B-2 Spirit provides the technological and strategic foundation for the B-21 Raider. The B-2 is the bridge to the B-21. It is the architecture behind the next generation. The tension that remains is the transition period itself. For a time, the upgraded B-2 Spirits and the early B-21 Raiders will fly together. This partnership is a deliberate strategy. The B-2's terrifying upgrades ensure that the bomber force remains dominant and maintains deterrence until the B-21 is ready to take full command. Without these B-2 upgrades, the changeover to the B-21 would be slow, risky, and vulnerable. With them, the US creates a continuous chain of stealth evolution, stretching from the 1990s through the 2030s and beyond. The B-2 becomes both a guardian of the present and a teacher for the future. The psychological impact is amplified. When adversaries know a bomber can defeat their defenses without warning, it changes how they act. Upgrading the B-2 signals that the US is totally committed to stealth dominance. The B-21 will inherit this psychological edge when it enters service. But the B-2's terrifying upgrade sets the standard. It becomes the benchmark the B-21 must surpass, making the threat of the entire fleet even greater. The final lesson is that the US is not just maintaining its stealth edge, it is expanding it. The Spirit's new systems reinforce the doctrine that undetectability is the key to survival in modern warfare. The B-2 Spirit is an intelligent phantom, shaping battles before the enemy even knows it is there. This is America's philosophy of warfare. The most effective influence does not come from open displays of power, but from capabilities hidden out of sight. The power is in what the enemy cannot perceive. What cannot be detected cannot be stopped, and what cannot be anticipated cannot be countered. This is the essence of US dominance. What you've seen is only the beginning. America's power is just getting started. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away. And you'll watch US jets and technology strike even harder.